Good morning, team. Okay, as part of our .NET training, we are going to learn C#, which is a programming language, .NET languages. So, what this .NET languages will do? So, there are languages like C#, .NET, VB.NET. These two are the Microsoft own languages, C#.NET and VB.NET. Like this, there are other languages like VC++, nothing but your C++. So next we have J sharp, which is nothing but your Java. F sharp, nothing but your Fortran, Python, Pascal, COBOL. Okay, there are around 64 plus other languages we are using as of today. Okay, so what these other languages? So not only C sharp and VB. Okay, these two are the Microsoft introduced programming languages. Okay, so apart from that, we are also using other languages. If you know C++, you can write a .NET application. Visual Studio will support to write .NET application in C++ language also. You know Java, you can write .NET application. You know Fortran, you can write .NET application. You know Python, you can write .NET. COBOL, Pascal. Okay. So there are 64 plus other languages which as of today which we are supporting. So not only single language, there is a wonderful feature called some part you will develop in C sharp, some part you will develop in VB, some part you will develop in VC++. It can allow .NET application color allow. That is called interoperability. Interoperability called inter-language communication. Within one application, we can use multiple languages, and also from one language to another language, one component to another component, you can have a communication. That is called inter-language communication. Okay. So as of today, .NET is supporting 64 plus other languages. But there is one rule. Okay, since we have lakhs of programming languages, but as we are saying, we are supporting only 64 plus other languages because there will be some certain rules. So layer 2 will talk about CLS, common language specification, and CTS, common type system unification. So these are all the set of rules. CLS will talk about syntax and semantic. What is syntax? Is nothing but your grammar. Semantic is nothing but your meaning. For example, how a if block should look like, how a for loop should look like, or we'll talk about syntax. The meaning after if only else should come. So that is called semantic, nothing but your meaning. These two, CLS and CTS, will decide the standard of programming language. Since we have thousands lakhs of programming languages, which we are supporting only 64 because a language should be certain standard. Then only we can allow. Because our .NET is supporting object-oriented programming language, right? C++, Java, Fortran, Python, they are all supporting object-oriented, and there are similar data types, syntaxes are similar. That's why we are supporting. What is this? CTS stands for Common Type System Unification. What this will tell? For example, so if you think about C language, integer 2 bytes. C++ we have 4 bytes, right? C sharp we have 2 bytes, 4 bytes, 8 bytes, like different types of data types are there. So a language should have certain data types and should have certain data sizes, and there should be a common data types in all other languages. So which will should support all the data types basically. So that is the purpose of CTS, Common Type System Unification. So next, layer 3, this is layer 2, layer 3. So here we'll talk about .NET technologies. So most of the time, this will be layer 2, we will say. As of now, I'm giving this as layer 3. So here we have a lot of technologies in .NET. So a lot of technologies like ASP.NET to develop your web application, WinForms to develop your desktop application, Windows application, we'll call it as WinForms, and WPF stands for Windows Presentation Foundation. WPF, Windows Presentation Foundation. WEF stands for Workflow Foundation. Web Services. WCF stands for Windows Communication Foundation.
Okay, Communication Foundation.
Web API. API stands for Application Program Interface. Okay, so these are all. This is desktop application related. This is service and workflows, and web technologies like ASP.NET, MVC. Okay, so these are all the technologies, and we have next we have connectivity, ADO.NET, Active Server Data, Active Data Object, ADO.NET, and Advanced Entity Framework, and Entity Framework Core. Entity Framework in .NET Framework, Entity Framework Core in .NET Core. Okay, link queue. This is one thing, and Azure Windows. These are all the technologies we have in .NET. Okay, so next layer 4 will talk about BCL, stands for Base Class Library, and FCL. BCL or FCL stands for Base Class Library or Framework Class Library. These are all the libraries which is given by Microsoft, existing libraries. So predefined or existing libraries which are given by Microsoft. So while using this, most of the application, less number of coding efforts will be reduced. Okay, using these libraries, it will reduce our programming effort. You no need to code for everything. There are many things they kept it as a already programmed, kept it as a library. Using those libraries, our code, instead of creating 100 lines, it reduces to 40-50 lines only. Okay, we don't need to code for everything. Many libraries are there in .NET. Okay, so next layer 5, which we'll talk about, CLR, stands for Common Language Runtime. Common Language Runtime. So this CLR will contain memory management, garbage collector, file management, etc. There are many other things which contains your CLR. Okay. Now let's talk about how our program will get compiled in C# or VB or entire .NET. Let's say. Okay. So let's clear on. So we have. So what system can understand? Can understand only what code? Byte code in the form of zeros and ones. So we'll get data in the form of zeros and ones. Now, so here we are implementing whatever language we are talking about, C#, VB. These are all high level languages, correct? C++, F#, J#, whatever, Python, Pascal, COBOL, whatever we talk about, these are all high level languages. So it won't get binary code like this, zeros and ones. This is machine level language or byte code. Byte code, which will be having in the form of zeros and ones. and this is high level language. Okay. So now, earlier days when computer was introduced first, we used it to write the program in the form of byte code, right? So writing byte code will be very difficult. Then many languages came, like assembly language. You might have studied in your career. Okay. So what is that assembly language will have? Will have some instructions. Add 1 comma 2, which will give you the addition of 3. Move 1 to 2. It will move the one value to the next position. So such type of instructions was there. Assembly language. It was very big success that time. Okay. So then later, in the era of 1960s and 70s, C language came. That is the biggest success in software programming. C. Till today, we are using C language for most of the operating systems. Okay. So till today, we have a lot of demand for C, C++ also. Okay. So now, when the C came, there is a very big success for .NET, not in .NET, for every software itself program. Okay. Second, then like Microsoft introduced this VB, ASP, these things. Java introduced. Okay, many things. So here, when this 1993 World Wide Web came, so that time, very big success for Java and .NET. Internet applications came. So C, C++ was famous, but they are running on a command prompt, Windows prompt. There is no GUI, graphical user interface was not there. So these applications had graphical user interface. Okay. So graphical user interface is there, easy for user to interact, for human especially, right? So that's how the evolution of .NET came. So since these are all very high level languages, it looks like English, for machine it will be very difficult to understand. It can't understand anything, right? So now how this compilation will work? There are two stages. One is called compilation. Second one is called runtime. Every language, if you take C, C++, Java, .NET, okay, there will be two phases, compilation and running. Okay. So now in compilation phase, what will happen? So there is a compilation phase. In this phase, so a language compiler, for each language, there will be a language compiler. For each language, there will be a language compiler. Okay. This language compiler will compile this high level language convert into a middle level language called MSIL. Called stands for Microsoft Intermediate Language. Microsoft Intermediate Language. We'll also call it as CIL, stands for Common Intermediate Language, or IL stands for Intermediate Language. Okay. So when this language compiler, so for each language there will be different compiler, not same compiler. Okay. So you don't need to worry about this. You'll just select whatever your favorite programming language, you will write your code, you'll just compile it. Framework will take care of based on your syntax, based on your language. It will compile and generate this MSIL code. Common Intermediate Language Code, or IL code. Don't get confused. Many of the interviewers, they'll ask like, what is CLL? What is IL code? Okay, like that. So then this IL code, okay, will generate either exe or DLL, executable file or dynamic link library. So these we can see when the program is successfully compiled, it will generate a IL code that we can see programmatically. We can able to see it will generate in our system only folder. Okay. Next, then so this is compilation done. It will generate an intermediate language, middle level. Okay, not high level, not low level, middle level language. Now this language we have to convert to byte code, bits in the form of zeros and ones. For this, we'll use a CLR, Common Language Runtime. For this purpose, it will also use one compiler called JIT, just in time compiler. So there are two phases again, pre-JIT, acknowledge two will be there inside the JIT. Okay. So it will convert into zeros and ones so that why you are converting into zeros ones so that your operating system can easily understand this, because operating system has to give the instructions to all other softwares, print, scan, whatever it may be. We'll discuss about CLR in next session. Thank you for watching.